In studio right now is Frank Spatto. Frank is the German Flatts Town Supervisor. Good morning, Frank.
Good morning. How are you?
Wonderful. And
I don't know how the hell you guys do it this hour in the morning. I'll tell you that.
Does it feel early for you? It's
That's about when I go to bed.
Okay, I get that.
I called Frank yesterday and asked him. I said, "Yeah, get in about 7 o'clock." He said, "I didn't even know there was a 7 o'clock."
Yeah. Well, I will tell you this: that we are up late anyway. I mean, with these baseball games and hockey and everything else, you can't get to bed anymore.
Well, what about a First News with Keeler in the evening?
I like it. Yeah, I do like
Keeler
it.
after midnight. How about something like that?
Okay, so you are obviously you've been. How long have you been the supervisor?
I've been supervisor 37 years.
37 years,
yep.
And you now have a challenger, and he won in the Republican primary. There's quite the controversy, and it stems from this trailer park on Creek Road.
Yes,
it's been quite the story. Prior to this, this is really the first time we've spoken on the radio about this.
I've never been here before, and I've never done this before. So here I am.
We oftentimes said, why, and I think I might have said it on the air, why is Frank not coming out and giving his side of the story, because you were beat up pretty well in this whole issue. Let me review just a little bit. It involves flooding, a flood zone along Creek Road. The flooding that occurred back in 2013 was horrific in the valley. I remember it well as I lived down there. And it at some point came a time when it was deemed that this trailer park was deemed inhabitable because of the potential of flooding. Is that correct?
Right. Well, this particular trailer park was totally destroyed in a 2013 flood. Totally destroyed. I brought you pictures. I don't know if you can put them up and all. But the thing is, this whole thing has been safety, trying to protect the people and everything.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing behind us. And the reason I couldn't come on before is this was in litigation, and we were told as a town board, we can't say anything because it's in litigation.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, everybody had 2 years of fun and beating up on Frank Spatto. And
did it work? I mean, has it turned people that have supported you in the past that might not today? Yeah. Yes. I mean, there's a lot of lies told and stuff like that. And the thing is, that's why I'm here today, to try to. There's so many things that need to be brought out, and I don't think I'm going to have time to do it. Okay, so when you talk about lies, what are some of the lies that you feel have been told? One of the lies was, I had a vendetta and I wanted to buy this trailer park. Totally untrue. All right, what's the but your property is nearby, is that correct? Yes, it is. Yes, okay, so what is the story from your standpoint? Well, that particular trailer park, when it sold way back 20, 30 years ago, it's always been in a floodplain, bad water, bad septic system and everything. I never had any desire to own that trailer park. Right. And now we come up to what's going on now is the town, with the total destruction of the trailer park in 2013, the town has to enforce the flood law. We have to do that by law. And by doing that, we have to protect the town. So, and it's not just, correct me if I'm wrong, it's not just the town in that local area right there of Creek Road, but it's also downstream as well. Yes. Okay. Yeah. All right. What happened? Because we have been told that the town was the one that was not accepting what the Jaquishes had done at the trailer park. But the state was good with it, and FEMA was good with it. Is that true? That's another one of the untruths of this whole thing. Is that provably untrue? Can you prove that that's not true? I mean, is there any document that says that the state is saying that this area is something that is flood prone, or is there an issue with an insurance company? Is there what proof can you show that the actions that you took were actions that you say that you were unavoidable? Yes, we have a lot of documents. DEC has backed us up and everything. They were doing construction on the trailer park. DEC told us that we must serve a stop work order, and the town served them a stop work order.
They were against. They did not pay any attention to that. They were filling in a floodplain, which is totally illegal. They went to court. They pled guilty, paid a fine, and went back and filled it in.
When you say filling in, does that mean filling in? When you say filling a floodplain, I don't know what that means.
They were trucking actual fill in.
All right.
See, a floodplain, a stream needs room to go. As the stream comes down, as the water comes up, it needs room to go. And by filling in a floodplain, you are now taking away that room for it to go. And in the 13 flood, all the water could not get down through the channel. It went around, it went down to 168, and flooded out the whole side of Mohawk.
Okay, and you're saying that, so, and I think when he was in, Mr. Jaquish was in, he said that he had conducted, that he understood this, he's a construction person, and that he did stuff with concrete. What was done there, and was that proper, and was that done with a permit? Okay,
well, that's the thing. They never received any permits or applied for permits. They never got anything from DEC or anything to work in a stream bank or anything like that. They altered. And
is that required to have a permit to do that?
Oh yes, yes.
Okay.
Whenever you play around near a stream bank, you need permits.
Okay.
Because whatever action you do, there could be a reaction downstream or upstream, and that's why it's so important that you get permits for all this. And they never did that.
All right.
Can I ask as well why? I know there was the flood. I think it was 2013. Why now did they have to stop? Because obviously the park had existed for some time before the flood. So why can it not be there now, but it could be there 10 years ago?
10 years ago, I mean, that was, I don't know. It was there all along.
Right.
Now this isn't the first time it's been flooded. It's been flooded before, but this time it was totally destroyed. I mean, the units were off the foundations and everything, and that's what triggered everything to say, listen, people are in harm's way here.
Mm-hmm. Did you when you say they're in harm's way? Yeah, examples.
During that flood, we had to go in with huge bucket loaders. People were screaming for their life in there, and get them out with bucket loaders. We're talking
in that park.
Yes, in that park. They were screaming for their lives.
Were the trailers moved off the foundation?
They were tipped sideways and everything else. We have pictures to show that and everything. And all the units were completely destroyed, and that's in their wordage too. They were destroyed.
Yeah.
And so that's what prompted everything. So to try to protect people, you don't want to put people back in there.
The move to the decision to, hey, we have to protect people. We can't let people live here now because of what happened in 2013. Who made that decision? Was that the town, the state, DEC, FEMA? Who said going forward you can't have people living here? Who said going forward,
and what prompted, what made you come to that conclusion?
Well, we did engineering studies,
mm-hmm.
and we tried to do some engineering studies to see what could be done and like that, and that all pointed into the same direction.
Yeah.
We've got to enforce the law. If we do not enforce the law, see, we have a floodplain law that we have to enforce. If we don't enforce that floodplain law, we could jeopardize our FEMA funding and our flood insurance. Flood insurance is what any transactions in a town. Now, this isn't just that area, but this is the entire town. We've got to protect the entire town.
So that's Mohawk, Ilion, and the rural parts of German Flatts.
If we don't enforce these laws, losing our FEMA funding, I mean, my God, that's huge. I mean, this 13 flood, we had damage to roads, bridges, infrastructure, everything. We had tens of millions of dollars worth of damage in the town.
I want to bring up one more thing, and I had talked to the Jaquishes about this when they fought this in court, and you tell me if I'm wrong, and I'm going to ask your opponent the same thing. By the way, your opponent is the son of the Jaquish family.
Exactly.
So your belief is that they're running just to get in and maybe change this decision on the trailer park.
Mr. Ravazzi's family's mobile home park.
Okay, so what I had said is, no, if you've ever done any work at your house, put up a fence, put on an addition, whatever it is that you've ever done, put a deck up. I don't know, maybe a deck doesn't count, but you have to get a permit. The last dealing I've had with codes was if you don't have a permit, you don't follow exactly the specs or the plan, we're going to make you tear it down. So and I think that's done to protect people. It's done to protect homeowners. It's done so that there's not some giant deck that collapses and a whole bunch of people die, or some fire because it's not up to codes.
Exactly.
But what I had said is, I don't know that you can fight fact that you did work and you didn't have a permit. You could probably fight the fact that they didn't give you a permit, but to fight that you should have been able to do work without a permit, if the state were to rule in your favor, it would throw everything into chaos throughout the entire state. It would mean no permits have any they're not binding at all.
Right.
The fact is they are, and you ask some certain codes officers, and they'll tell you, oh yeah, this property this garage had to be torn down because they didn't follow the permit and codes. So I don't know how they can win that. Can you talk about that?
Yeah. A lot of people don't like codes enforcers, but the codes enforcers are there to protect you. If you've got a contractor that's doing work on your home or whatever, and they're not doing it right, they're putting you in danger.
Yeah.
And the codes enforcers are there to protect you and everybody else. In this case, the codes enforcers are there to protect the village of Mohawk and the town of German Flatts. So we have to follow through on this.
Again, it's our first time talking to you on this and being able to get your side of this story. You've been beaten up over the last 2 years pretty strongly.
Oh, yeah.
And what have you been through? And how do you, I guess, send a message out to potential voters there in Herkimer County and German Flats?
Well, the thing is that this isn't just a Vazzi's family's trailer park. This is a 7-unit trailer park. What's involved is in protecting the entire township. This is like we're the largest populated town in Herkimer County, 13,500 people roughly. And we can't jeopardize all that 13,000 people for this one instance over here. They did not play by the rules. They did not go by all the standards, of codes and all that. And it just doesn't make sense to say, we could have said, well, listen, go ahead. You can do that. I'll turn my back. And I could have ran unopposed.
Right.
But the town board stood up and did what's right. We have to enforce the flood law. And that's bottom line. We have to do that.
Just one more quick thing. I know you had said earlier you have an adjacent property. Are there any new restrictions that affect your property? I don't know the lay of the land there, so I don't know how close.
No, there isn't anything new. No.
So did you have development on your land there that's been impacted at all? No.
No. Okay. No. Nothing's been done there in years.
It's just empty land.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. One message. Send a message out to the voters.
Well, just basically, the town has always had the back of the taxpayers here. I could get into several issues of financial stress and stuff like that. We just had a lot of damage like that.
You're saying one of the things that I read is that the township is in financial distress.
Exactly.
And you're saying that the distress that occurred is because after the flood, it was millions of dollars, and it cost the township millions of dollars.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it sent the township into distress. But what has happened since then? Are you in distress right now?
No. They are predicting right now, the state is predicting, Mr. Ravazzi is saying that the town is in financial stress in 2017. They haven't even done 2017 yet. 2017 isn't done. The state has a graph showing the town being out of stress this year. In 13, we had tens of millions of dollars in damage. The town budget is only $2.2 million.
Right.
So we had to front this money. So for that money to come back, sometimes it takes a year, 2 years to get all the funding back. So that leaves a deficit in your budget.
Okay.
So that's why we were in moderate stress in 2013. Then in 14, we were susceptible. 15, we were susceptible. And the chart shows from the state that we have gradually straightened this around. And at the time, we chose not to borrow money to put the town in debt. We tightened our belt and said, listen, we can work our way through this.
All right.
And that's exactly what we did. We worked our way through it. We took that heavy disaster, took care of everything, took care of everybody's homes, roads, and everything like that. And we've gradually worked out it. And the latest prediction from the state, we will be out of financial stress this year.
All right, Frank Spatto, the election, of course, is Tuesday.
Yes.
Thanks for I'm sure you can't wait for it to be over.
Oh, boy. Yes.
All right, Frank, thanks so much.
I just like to come in here and see where you guys get in trouble every morning.
This is it, every morning. Always trouble here. So.